Hello and welcome to yet another overview. As I still don't have samples, and actually I'm running out of ideas what I also can compare and talk about. Maybe next time I'll have to get a piece of paper, a pen, and start creating some tutorial videos about the basics of portable and not only portable audio. But I'm not sure about that. I don't know, is my vocabulary big enough for that. But today I have a really interesting topic. It's iBasso players and actually amplifier models. Unfortunately, I don't have many iBasso dubs with me because their history was pretty long. I reviewed almost all of them, but actually some of that reviews were even in the pre-YouTube era, so some reviews exist only in Russian text versions, but it's mainly for the players that are definitely outdated. But anyway, let's start with mentioning them. Let's go back in time to the period when $650 dub, it was Hi-Fi Man 801, actually $650 dub considered as crazy expensive. And that time only a few other companies tried to release really good audiophilic portable dub. It was an era of dominating iPods. People created modified versions. $200 line out cables were sold for the iPod, so it was really interesting and curious time. At that period, iBasso actually already proved themselves as being an interesting company able to create unusual portable gear. So they created a few portable digital tonal converters, few amplifiers, and actually the most unusual thing, separate balanced portable digital tonal converter and separate portable amplifier. So lot of interesting stuff were happening at that time. Also that time they released pretty expensive Deeks 100. Actually I haven't had a chance to test it, and opinions were really controversial about it, but it was first Android digital player. It was Android, actually I don't know, it was 2.0 or 2.1, so some old version of Android. And if I remember right, it used Sabre as digital tonal converter. It was big and quickly drained battery, but it was a pioneer dub. At the same time, FIO released their first model X3. Actually, what was pretty good dub at that time, really showed that it's possible to create good sound in the pretty affordable price segment, so many waited for it. And almost simultaneously, iBasso released their first affordable dub, Deeks 50. It used Wolfson digital tonal converter, and actually that's almost all I remember about it. It had interesting design with three convenient big buttons, sensor screen, but actually I don't remember the specifications, I don't remember the price. Also they released Deeks 90, it used Sabre if I remember right, but it was also really popular, but I did a review, but I didn't buy it for me. Also then they released Deeks 80, and actually it's like, you know, the beginning of the modern era. It also, if I remember right, was based on Sabre, but it's not certain, and it offered really unusual, natural, really crazy resolving sound, really monitoring, focused on the micro contrast and detalization. And that's all about the history. Let's talk now about the current models that iBasso is selling and offering. And let's start with two models I don't have on the table at all. So first one is Deeks 120, and you know, I think it's probably the most advanced non-Android dub that is available in the middle segment. Its price is $300. It has stylish, unusual design, and it uses dual AK4495 as digital tonal converter. It uses iBasso own Mango OS, Linux-based operation system, and, or is it Linux? I don't remember the way Linus Torvalds pronounced the name of the OS. So, and it has tons of features, convenient UI, 2 micro SD slots, long-lasting battery, tons of driving power, convenient buttons, so on and so forth. So if you don't need streaming media and you'd like to have a bad to the bones DAP, it's an option for you. Another model that is also outdated, I'm talking for 5 minutes already and all you see is my hands and these 3 players. So I need to take something and to rotate. Maybe you can download this video and grab audio part and listen to some kind of podcast. So Deeks 150, actually it was released after Deeks 200, but I will cover it before because I don't have it now also, but it was really a bold move from iBasso. For $500 they released a player that was pretty close to their flagship, while Deeks 200 was the flagship model released at that time, and it was sold for $850. Deeks 150 cost only $500, and for that time dual AK4490, separate XMOS chip, and Android operation system and replaceable amplifier system, all that features were pretty good and offered really great value. So even now it can be considered as a good player if you can get it for about $300. So it has full-featured Android 8. Design is close to this one, a bit smaller and a bit more handy, but anyway. So just open Android, iBasso on Mango player, and that's it. And what else I can say about it? Also normal battery life, not stellar. In terms of battery life, UI speed, iBasso DAPs are somewhere in between. They are not slowest, they are not fastest, and the same applies to the battery lifetime. Not the greatest, not the worst, so depending on the amplifier model, but usually iBasso creates really powerful amplifiers. They have long history and experience in creating powerful amplifiers, and it's obvious that they create models that can drive virtually every headphones. So 150 was a good budget model, but of course main attention was focused on the DX200. I don't have regular DX200, I have the titanium limited version that I've bought about 2 years ago. So, but it was pretty similar in terms of design, so just a bit darker tint of case, so pretty close in terms of shape and all other stuff. So you can see the idea of design. If you're interested in more details like UI, UX and so on, I have a detailed videos about every single device mentioned here. I mean modern ones, not the DX50 or DX90. So pretty big but powerful with tons of features, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, modern codecs, so on and so forth, can be used as digital to analog converter, and of course replaceable amplifiers. Depending on the amp model, you can get different set of outputs. I will briefly tell about these amplifier models a bit later. Nice, solidly looking, a bit outdated comparing with modern models, but anyway, DX200 is still available on the second-hand market, and it's a good solid offer, especially if you invest some extra to the external amplifier. But then iBasso decided to release 2 limited versions. Actually, first one was copper with gold plated. Unfortunately, I don't have one. It wasn't available for sale. It was just a gift for iBasso partners and some other important influencers. So anyway, forgot to mention the sound. So first iBasso sound was natural, detailed, focused on the micro contrast with stock amplifier, and what gave this player a bit of controversy at the launch. It was really monitoring and really critical for the quality of the recording. So if recording is good, it will show the tiniest details, nuances with authority, with power, and so on. If record quality is bad, you know, it will sound pretty poor. So it requires good, well mastered things, especially with the stock amp. And gold version was an attempt to create a bit warmer, bit weightier sounding signature, according to the reviews and posts on the forums. And then they released this titanium version, and they tuned it in opposite way. They created powerful and even more focused on the resolution player. Basically, it's the similar Deeks 200, but they tuned amplifier a little bit, making it even more detailed and even more focused on these small, tiniest nuances. So, you know, if this player is kind of surgical steel, so it's fast, it's precise, and so on and so forth. So I created separate review about it. It's a bit unique and unusual machine. I can listen only about 20% of my music library with it, but with that music it shines. But then happened this small guy, actually not small, but smaller guy, and with it iBasso proved that they can create good modern designs. So as you can see, it's actually, you know, you can see that these two players were made by the same company. They share a lot of similar, but you know, if this one looks like a player from early 2000s, this one were created just a few years ago. It looks much more modern and much more mature. So smaller in size, better in shapes, and actually, you know, it was released after the Deeks 150, and Deeks 150 showed that iBasso, you know, maybe they changed their designer or just start paying him a bit more, but this design of course looks much better, as well as Deeks 150 and 160. But also they managed to source good, really good screen, so it's sharp 1080p display with perfect viewing angles, with great resolution, almost each to each. So you know, it's like new level in the player screens. In terms of chipset, it's about the same, but here used Saber 9018, if I remember right, or 9028. This one uses 9038, but actually I'm not sure. I need to check it, or you can check the specs yourself. So still Saber chipset, same replaceable amplifier models, but actually it's AMP1 Mark II, so it was retuned. Same Android OS, but you can also use Mango mode, so Android-less operation system if you don't want Android. And also, as in every single iBasso review, I need to mention Lurker's firmwares that really improves the performance and offering some additional features. So nice controls, good screen, pretty reliable battery lifetime from 7 to 10 hours depending on the volume and amplifier model. Not the record numbers, but anyway, so for the powerful and technical dub, it's a good choice. And in terms of sound quality, it was a step forward from the Deeks 200. It's a bit less focused on the micro details, but more weighty, and actually it's a good thing because the resolution is a bit lower here, but you know, resolution is not something that you need to set as a main goal, because better balance of weight means more natural sound, and this player gives it to you. It's more authoritative, more powerful, and a bit more natural. And the recent, but actually still really good and competitive model is iBasso Deeks 160. It was probably targeted to eliminate all his rivals because price is just $400. They removed the replaceable amplifiers and just make stock amplifier pretty decent, but besides that it's still really nice, modern, stylish looking device. They also have blue and red versions, so let me remove this silicone case because I think this player worth showing without it. So pretty small but feels nice in hand. Curved black screen, plastic buttons, volume knob, also big sharp screen with 1080p resolution. You can see, I think even on the video you can see how good the screen is. Same Android operation system, good sound, of course not Deeks 220, a bit simpler in many aspects, but anyway well balancing between the natural resolving signature and more and better distributed weight. So you know, it's one of three dubs that I usually recommend in mid segment. So it's FiOS M11, HiBi R5 and iBasso Deeks 160. So HiBi is weighty, FiO is natural and focused on the treble a little bit, and this one is balancing in between of those two, offering a really good design and nice sound quality. So as you can see, pretty solid lineup of current models. Forgot to say that digital to analog converters here is Cirrus Logic 43131 or 143, or actually what's the index of that recently released chip, same used in Aston Kern's Norma, for example, really good digital to analog converter. And a few words about amplifiers. So let's see how everything looks inside. So inside we'll have short manual, warranty card, screwdriver and module itself. So installation is simple, you just loosen two screws here, remove this module and connect the new one. Actually here with this module you can see the stock color of the regular DX200. It's a bit different tint of gray. All the dubs have a bit different set of outputs, and AMP2 was first custom amplifier by iBasso. It has only 3.5mm and it offered a bit warmer and less focused on the micro detalization sound. It was more forgiving for those who want that. AMP3, so what offered AMP3? AMP3 was pure balanced module with both line out and headphones output is balanced 2.5mm. If I remember this model right, it offered a beta treble extension and a bit more better staging because of that. AMP4 I don't have with me, so now AMP4 works at our co-author on our site, reviewer Mikhail Hilko, so he owns the AMP4 now. And AMP4 was first model with a Pentacon connector with a blacker background and a bit more weightier sound. AMP5, here it is, just regular 3.5mm outputs, and it offered, if I remember right, it's the high voltage model, but actually don't remember right, sorry. AMP6 is a stock model of the iBasso Deeks 150. It's similar almost to AMP1 but a bit less detailed. AMP7 and AMP8 they are pretty close because both of them features discrete amplification, so you know it's really unusual thing to have discrete amplifier models in the portable players, but difference that this one is single-ended and this one is balanced and 2 times more powerful, and of course more power consuming, so it's pretty expected. So 3.5mm and Pentacon connectors here. Also there is a limited version of AMP8 with upgraded capacitors released as a limited run by iBasso for the company's fans on the Hi-Fi. Haven't tested, but both of these amplifiers offering more weighty, more musical and more engaging sound signature. And last, but actually probably the most interesting, the most outstanding model is AMP9, and it's a real masterpiece because iBasso managed to release the portable amplifier model with 2 Korg new tubes. So there are 2 small tubes here, they are not visible, but believe me, they are here, and this model uses this to the maximum level. So just single-ended, of course, because it's impossible to fit 4 tubes in such a small volume, and it's unique. So its price is, if I remember right, something about $300, and additionally $900 for the X220, and with it you can get the portable tube sound, and it's a really great experience that many fans are really like. The only other tubey portable player is Kane N8, but its price is $3,500 more or less, so it's top of the line player, and you can get tubey sound for with much less price here. And actually it's totally worth it if you like this warm signature tube vintage sound with a bit romantic and emotional representation. So as you can see, iBasso is really company with really great experience. They have created really lot of successful models, good lineup of amplifiers where every single model offers something unusual and unique to the audience. But actually now new product is coming, probably they will announce the details in June and it will hit sales in July. They are releasing iBasso Deeks 220 Max. It's iBasso 220, but in bigger case, noticeably bigger, with bigger battery and some state-of-the-art amplification. Maybe it will be some limited version, maybe not, I'm not sure yet, as well as about the price, but anyway it sounds really interesting, so stay tuned. And it was my history of iBasso models. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.